Hi, in this video we'll talk about string methods. So far we have seen two distinct ways to process data with Python: operators and function. We have used operators like plus, which is arithmetic operator, this smaller than equal to, which is comparison operator, and, which is a logical operator, which process the two values on either side of the operator, right? We have also used functions like print, len, input, type. Functions are very similar to operators. In fact, the only real difference is how they look. Functions inputs are put in parentheses rather than being placed next to an operator. And functions have descriptive names rather than short symbols. Like for function we can have a name print, but for arithmetic operator we have a symbol plus. There's a third technique for operating on values, and this technique is called methods. So now what is methods? Well, methods are relative to function. It's very related to function. Even many people call it functions, but there's a difference. Unlike functions, methods are associated with specific types of objects. That is, there are different methods depending on the type of data you are working with. So string, which is a data type, will have its own methods. Number data types such as integer and float will have its own methods. So each and every data type that we will cover throughout this course has its own methods. So in this lecture or in this video, we'll talk about some of the strings methods which can be useful. So let's start. So let's create a variable name. I would store John Smith. All right. Now let's talk about the first method, which is called upper, which makes the string uppercase. The question is how you can use a method. All right. For using a method, by the way, we will know how to create your own method. We'll talk about it in object-oriented programming. In fact, we have a complete section on that. So we'll talk about how you can create your own method. So by the end of this course, you will be able to create your own methods, all right? For now, just use the provided methods. So how to use methods? First of all, you need to write the name of the variable. In this case, the name is name, all right? Then you should use one that can be called a symbol or whatever, that is dot. So you have to use dot after the name of the variable. Now what this dot will do, it will tell the variable that, hey variable, now it's time to use method, all right? So whenever you want to use a method, first of all, you need to write the name of the variable, then you need to write dot, and like this, the specific methods associated with this data type will be occur on suggestion. If it does not, that's not a problem, all right? It's a built-in functionality in VS Code. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, all right? So now what we can do is we can write the name of the method. So name dot the name of the method. So in this case, it's upper. All right, sorry, upper. Now we can use this parentheses. Why we are using this parentheses, we'll talk about in one of the next section. For now, just think that it's very similar to function, but instead, or unlike function, we cannot call it independently. For example, we can call type independently. All right, we don't need anything for calling type, but to call method we need a variable on which we want to call a method. All right, so that's the difference. Now it's very similar to like this. So for example, upper is a function. Let's suppose upper is a function, so it's similar to this. So what we are really doing behind the scenes is we are calling this upper, and then we are passing this name to this parentheses, okay? But it's not a function, it's a method. So this name will pass as a argument, okay? Whatever you put in parentheses is called argument. So whatever you write over here will be placed here, okay? Now we can save this, the result of this, which will be uppercase of a string, in another variable. So let's call it uppercase name. Okay, it's a great name, by the way. So uppercase name this. Oh, sorry. What I'm doing. Uppercase name. Now I can call this or execute it. As you can see this, now it's a capital, and here we have a smaller case. Okay, we have more and more methods in strings. We cannot cover all of the methods in one video. You can always search by their documentations. All right, so what is documentation? Python documentation is a place where you can find all the methods and functions and all the things that is associated with Python. So what you can do is you just go to Google and type Python docs. All right, so now we can use another method that is called isLower. All right, before calling isLower, we can also use another method that is called name.lower. All right, so what we can do is we can again retransform this into a lowercase. So we can use a method called lower for this. So let's use this. So now it's a capital letter, okay, uppercase. Now it should be smaller case because this is what it does. We can also identify whether it's a lowercase or uppercase using isLower. The result of this will be either true or false, which is a Boolean data type. Okay, so as you can see, it's returned false. All right, and we have other method like uppercase.title. So this method, what it does actually, it makes the string as a title. So it transforms the first letter of the word into uppercase. So in this case, you know, J is upper, S is upper. All right, and we have also count. Okay, what count does actually, it will have a problem. All right, what's the problem? Oh, sorry. Now what this count needs is argument. Okay, now what count does is it searches for a particular word inside a string. So for example, I can search for Smith. I can search for Smith inside this uppercase name. Okay, so let's see what we get. So here we get 0. It means there is no Smith, because here we don't have a Smith, but we have a Smith, which is uppercase. So if I write uppercase over here, which is Smith, it should return me 1, which means there is one Smith. All right, if I say S, all right, if I say S, okay, if I say S, then it should return 1 because there is only one S in this. All right, by the way, I'm calling these function methods on a variable called uppercase name, which is the uppercase of this string. So don't be confused. All right, let's use name. Okay, because here we have our string. So let's say let's find out the repeating variable letters. So we don't have, I think we have H. So H is repeated 2 times. So let's search for H. All right, it should return 2 because as you can see there are 2 H in this string. So count return the number of the letter or word present in the string. All right, so we should also have another method which is which can be a len. Sure, so we might have, no, we don't have this method. By the way, we have a method called split. Now what split does is it transforms this into something called list. Okay, so as you can see, John Smith. By the way, don't worry about what is this. We'll talk about this in next section. Okay, so in this video we have talked about the methods that we can apply on strings. You can always find more methods. All right, so what you should do is you should go to Google and you can search for Python, which is Python docs. All right, and here you can just click on this documentation, python.org, and Python docs. So this is the official documentation of Python, and you can find basically all type of methods, statements. We'll almost cover all of these things, but if you want to go in detail, you can always come into this place and find out more information about Python. So that's it for this video.